Hello, nostalgic creeps!
Hello!
Welcome back to Library Macabre. For those who are new here, my name is Cameron Chaney, author of the Autumn Crow books, and today we're going to be shopping my shelves, trying to find my ideal TBR for old school April. I don't know how it got here so quickly. I love old school April, and I'm not sad that it's here already, but I am a little bit freaked out by the way time moves. But here we are, it's almost April, and I need to get with it because I don't have my TBR picked out for old school April yet, and it's just a couple weeks away. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be shopping my shelves in my home library, trying to find a good TBR for old school April, and then at the end of the video, we're going to look at what I've picked out and see how many points that these books could be worth. Because Kelsi from Slime and Slashers and Nightmares and Nostalgia and the founder of Old School April is always saying that this is kind of a low effort event. You could really read whatever you want, and it's always going to be worth at least a point or two. So we're gonna put that to the test today and see just how many books I can mood read and match up with the prompts at the end. But before I begin, for those who are unawares, Old School April is a huge event. I have been taking part in this event since the very beginning, and I have had the honor of watching it grow over the years. And the last couple of years, I have been a co-host. There are a whole slew of hosts. These are all people that I have been watching on YouTube and following for a very long time, so it's really cool to be a part of an event with them and to have that community aspect. And of course, it's not just the co-hosts who are participating, it's you, the audience. Everybody can have a part of Old School April. All you have to do is go onto the Google Docs, which I will link down below.
Isn't that for techno geeks with spreadsheets? Oh, Mel.
You sign in, you choose your team. I'm part of the Scoobies, just throwing it out there. Throughout the month, you can log everything that you're reading and watching and doing, and the more points you get, the more of a chance that your team is going to win the event. But nobody is actually competing. We're all just reading good books and watching good movies. So we're going to be looking for Goosebumps related books. I mean, obviously I'm wearing my Goosebumps shirt. I don't have my Old School April shirt yet, but there's some really cool designs of different Old School April things that you can order. There's sweaters, there's shirts, there's hoodies. There's even going to be an Old School April zine, an old school magazine, and I have written a short story for it. What other kinds of books? I'm thinking Fear Street. Oh my gosh, Fear Street. I am so excited for the new Fear Street movie, The Prom Queen, that's coming out really soon. And I would really like to get back into my Fear Street reading vlogs, which I used to do all the time. In fact, let's go ahead and go over to my Fear Street shelves and I will show you what Fear Street books I'm going to be reading next. All right, here we go. We got my next selection of Fear Street books here. For those who don't know, I have been reading all of the Fear Street books in publication order. I have now read the first 25-ish books. I may be a little bit off on that. So next up is The Best Friend, which is Christmas themed. So we're going to be reading Christmas in April. That's okay. I'm still wanting to read these in order the best I can. So The Best Friend is one that I've never read before. I'm really excited to get into this one. I love this cover. I love the single white female kind of angle for this book. Next, Broken Hearts, which is a super chiller. I have read this. I read this probably 15 years ago as a teenager. I thought this one was really fun. We also have The Cheater, which was the first Fear Street book that I ever bought when I was a kid. And I never read it, and so it's been sitting on my shelf ever since then. And then we've got finally a summer themed book. We've got Sunburn, another one that I've never read that I've always wanted to read. And like I said, those are all going to be talked about within one Fear Street vlog leading up to the movie, which comes out in May. Over in the corner over here, I've got my Goosebumps knockoff kind of books. I do have videos about Goosebumps knockoffs, my whole collection of them, which I will post up here if you want to go and check it out, just to give you some more information and maybe some more inspiration for some books that you can read during Old School April. I have a huge collection of these things, so we're going to choose a couple of those over here.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Beware, It's the Gravedale High Happy Meal featuring 4 creepy characters who put the ghoul in school. And there's a different one each week. You can collect all 4 when you buy the Gravedale High Happy Meal only at McDonald's.
And by a couple, I mean kind of a big stack. I've got 5 books here. The first one is called The Mummy Awakes. It is a book in the Bullseye Chillers series. This one is written by Megan Stein and H. William Stein. I have a little bit of information for you, a little tidbit, if you will. This was news to me just a couple of days ago. I always wondered if maybe these 2 writers were related to R.L. Stein in some way. Turns out they are. H. William Stein is R.L. Stein's brother. And Megan Stein is his wife. They wrote this together, husband and wife duo, lots of cool illustrations scattered throughout. You guys know I love some good spooky illustrations. Mummy stories are some of my faves. I don't feel like there are enough mummy stories. Megan Stein and H. William Stein also wrote a trilogy in the 90s. These are also Bullseye Chillers. It's called Camp Zombie. Like I said, a trilogy of books. I do have all 3. Maybe I'll read all 3. If I can squeeze all these books in, because I'm going to be choosing a lot of books today. This is about some kids that go to this camp called Camp Harvest Moon. They drowned, their bodies were never found, but now the camp is reopening and it seems like the dead are reawakening. Ooh.
But don't rattle me bones!
Great cover here with these drowned dead people just marching down the way, coming right at you. Camp Zombie by some relatives of R.L. Stein. I also have Shadow Zone, My Teacher Ate My Homework. I have read some of the Shadow Zone books before, but I never read this one, which is weird because I grew up with the movie of this. I used to rent it from Blockbuster all the time until my sister Robin finally bought me the VHS tape, which I still own. I love this movie so much. If you've not seen it, it is on Tubi, and I do highly recommend watching it. It has Shelley Duvall as a killer doll. Well, not a killer doll, but an evil doll. It's like an edgier episode of Goosebumps, I would say, a little bit scarier. It's so good. I'm really, really eager to read the book and see how it compares to that movie. I also have a couple of rarer books here. The House of Horrors series was a very short-lived series. I think, yeah, there were 6 books. I do own all 6 of these. This is the first one. It's called My Brother the Ghost. I bought these last year, I think, and I've been wanting to read them ever since. So there's the first one. We're gonna read that. And a very rare one here. This is Spider Worlds, the first book in the Spider Worlds trilogy. Again, I have all 3 books, so maybe I can read all 3 in April, though I kind of doubt it. It's kind of funny I picked this because I hate spiders. They scare me so bad. Even though it's got spiders, it looks like a blast. So we're gonna try to read that for April. I think we're gonna just walk around the library and browse, see what I can find, and I'll come back and talk to you here in a second.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Magic Potty Baby, your bottle's all done. At potty training time will be so much fun. I help you with your training pants, you make me so proud. Your potty feels like magic, then it flushes out loud.
It's fun to help Magic Potty Baby learn to use her potty. Flush and you're ready for next time.
Magic Potty Baby, I'm so glad that you're mine.
Magic Potty Baby and her Magic Potty. No water, no mess. Batteries not included.
What you talking about, lady?
Got a nice stack here. First off, Joan Lowery Nixon is an author that I used to read all the time in middle school. My school library actually had a big collection of her books. The one that I never read was The Seance. I always wanted to, but my library didn't have a copy. I didn't own a copy until very, very recently. A lot of her books are thrillers, more like mystery thrillers, but some of them do have paranormal angles. Some of them are a little bit more horror. I think a good seance is something that I need for old school April. What's more old school than a seance, especially with a group of teenagers?
Dear Johnny, we know you were just a kid when you died. We want to find out how. Concentrate.
Here's a series that I have been meaning to read for a long time too. This is the Twilight series. No, not that one. Twilight Where Darkness Begins is a teen horror series from the 80s. It doesn't get a whole lot of recognition these days, but the people who know about it really talk it up. And I've heard Grady Hendrix in particular say really good things about this series. They're also very collectible and can be very expensive. I've been lucky enough to get quite a few of these books in the series. This is the first book in the series. It's called Deadly Sleep. It's by Dale Cohen. So I thought we would start with the first one and see how it is. It's also very short, so it's one that I'll be able to get through pretty quickly. That's one of the big things about Old School April, is trying to choose books that are nostalgic and short, because a lot of books back in the day used to be a lot shorter than they are now. Books these days are way too long, in my opinion.
How rude!
So I just need some good short little books that I can get through quickly. We have Down a Dark Hall by Lois Duncan. My queen. I love Lois Duncan. She's the author of Killing Mr. Griffin, one of my favorite books from my teens. She's the author of I Know What You Did Last Summer, another great book. Summer of Fear, loved that one. I've been wanting to read Down a Dark Hall, which has been compared to Dario Argento's Suspiria many times because it takes place at a boarding school where there may be some witchcraft involved. So yeah, I would really like to read this one finally after all these years. Here we go. Oh yeah, some good old teen 90s pulp. We have Alone in the Dark, which is one of the Babysitter's Nightmares books. The Babysitter's Nightmares was a spin-off of a series called Babysitter's Nightmare by Kate Daniel. It was 2 books, and then shortly after they launched this series, which only lasted for 4 books. This is the first book in the series. It's called Alone in the Dark. I have always loved that story of the babysitter. You know, the babysitter gets a phone call and the voice on the other end is like, have you checked the children? You know, when a stranger calls. It's an old urban legend that I have always loved. It scares me, you know, it creeps me out. And I think that's a big reason why I am so drawn to home invasion stories.
Is Tamara here?
I don't know you!
Is from that story that I heard as a kid. And this series takes that and runs with it. And I do have all the other books, so I'll try to squeeze a couple more of those in if I can. I'm being too ambitious. I'm always way too ambitious with these TBRs. Speaking of teen pulp, we have The Killer by Chris North, which was published by Harper Teen back in the 90s. They published a whole bunch of teen horror books at that time. This is one that I had been after for a long, long time, and if you follow my Instagram, you probably saw me post about this. I finally found a copy of this book. It's very rare. I posted about it on Instagram when I finally bought a copy, and my friend Grace, hi Grace, go follow her Instagram if you don't. She is amazing. She commented on my post and said that she had read this and that it is really good and that the writing was great. So I trust Grace's opinions. This is going to be at the very top of my TBR for April. And of course, because I read 5 Minute Frights last year for Old School April and loved it, I had to pick out 3 Minute Thrillers, which is a spin-off series. This is The Oozing Eyeball and Other Hasty Horrors. Now, 5 Minute Frights ended up really surprising me. Some of those stories were legitimately dark. I'm talking about children coming to untimely demises. It was very gruesome and shocking. So of course, I'm gonna read another one. 3 Minute Thrillers. It also has some really great illustrations, black and white illustrations. Here we go, a story about ballet. Oh my God, what is happening? This is gonna be so much fun. And finally been looking for an excuse to pick up this book. This is Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators, book number 1, The Secret of Terror Castle. Again, my school library had a ton of the Three Investigators books. I used to check them out and read them almost every time I went to the library. I never read the first book though, so we're going to pick up the first book. Alfred Hitchcock is a character in this series. He basically is like a mentor to these young teenage detectives. They're a bit like the Hardy Boys, but they solve spooky mysteries. And speaking of mysteries, I gotta get some Nancy Drew, so I'm gonna reach over your head here, excuse me. I have been rereading the entire Nancy Drew series from the very beginning. And not only that, but I have been extra ambitious, and I started reading the original texts of all of the books. So if you're unfamiliar, Nancy Drew started in 1930. They released a ton of books up to 1959, and at that point, they started revising all of the books that came before. So the books that you find in those yellow, like flashlight editions that you can go into the bookstore right now and get, those are all revised versions of the original texts. So I've been going back and reading the original versions and then reading the revised versions and comparing them over on my Patreon. I'm on to book 6 right now, so I definitely would love to read book 6 in the Nancy Drew series. This is the original text. I do think I read the revised version as a kid, but I've never read the original. I do know that this has to do with a cult, so that could be fun. Another mystery book that I would love to read in April is Beverly Gray Freshman. So Beverly Gray is a mystery series, very much like Nancy Drew. She's a young detective. She is in college, just solving mysteries at her campus. Eventually, she graduates college and goes on to solve mysteries as an adult. Again, this is as old school as it gets. This is from 1934.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
How many books do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17, 18. Oh my God. And am I done? Hell no. Let's go get some more books.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, where's the cream filling? Now that's the stuff. Hostess.
We got more books. Woohoo! We have Dollies by Pat Gravenson. Look at that terrifying cover. I love a good killer doll story, and this seems like the perfect one. So we're going to read this and try to be really careful with it so I don't mess up the spine. It's a very rare book, and if I ruined it, I would be very, very upset. That's why I have it in one of these plastic covers. I got a comment once on my YouTube channel that made no sense to me. It was targeted at me, and the person was saying, this guy doesn't actually read his books. Look, they're still in the plastic covers. Books don't come in plastic. These are removable covers. See, look. I just took it out. It's almost like if I put a book in one of these covers, like I could put the book in and remove it anytime I want, like when I'm gonna read the book. Just don't understand how people can make a big deal and get upset just about anything. Like even just a plastic cover is enough to upset a person. I'm trying not to be mean, but I also really want to be mean. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Night of the Bunny by Derek Heath. April, Easter horror. There's not enough of it. There's not enough Easter horror. So this, oh yeah. I'm so excited to read this. I actually have a whole bunch of this guy's books because I heard that his mass market paperbacks were going out of print and then they were going to just be trade editions, which is fine. But I really like the mass markets because they match all of my other, horror paperbacks. So I just went ahead and bought a whole bunch of them before they went out of print. And I have not had a chance to read any yet. So we're going to read Night of the Bunny, and that's going to be my first Derek Heath book. Now we're going to take a little trip into my living room and into my bedroom where I have some other bookshelves, and we're going to browse those and just pull a couple more books, and then we're done. I promise.
Feeling like Halloween just isn't the same? Tired of your old copy of Autumn Crow falling apart after one too many readings? This Halloween season, prepare to be enchanted and terrified. From the library of the best-selling author Cameron Chaney comes the brand new illustrated edition of Autumn Crow. Perfect for cozying up on those long, spooky nights. This deluxe hardcover is the ultimate companion for your Halloween festivities. Dive deeper into the eerie world of Autumn Crow than ever before with haunting illustrations that bring each chilling tale to life. Follow me in, creeps. Don't miss your chance to own this Halloween treat. Order your copy of Autumn Crow today before it disappears into the mist. Also available, Autumn Crow High Fresh Hell. Read them now, if you dare.
All right, 3 more. Just 3. I already know I'm not going to be able to read all these, guys. Don't worry, I'm not totally delusional. These are all just possibilities for the month that I can choose from whenever I want. And if I want to change it throughout the month, I can do that too. That's one of the good things about Old School April, is that nothing is locked in. There's no point of reading things that you don't want to read. You just read what you want. You just watch what you want. It's a really fun event. That's at the forefront of Old School April, is fun. And these just look like fun to me. But if I change my mind when April comes around, that's okay too.
Yeah, maybe I have some punk characteristics about me, but I don't walk around calling myself punk.
We've got Sweet Valley High. I love Sweet Valley. I feel like I read a Sweet Valley book every single Old School April, so we're going to keep that a tradition going forward. We've got Sweet Valley High book number 3, Playing with Fire. I haven't read any other Sweet Valley books since last Old School April. So we've left off with book 2 and the drama of that book, which was an explosion of drama. I'm so eager to see where that's gonna go and how Jessica is going to react, because Jessica is never happy, especially when she's been outsmarted. We also have good old classic Babysitter's Club.
Say hello to your friend, Babysitter's Club.
This is book number 4. It's called Mary Ann Saves the Day. I've read the first 3, so this is the one that we're on now. And then we've got one more, the last book for Old School April, and one that I would most definitely like to prioritize because I am so into Oz right now. That is book number 5 of the original Oz series by L. Frank Baum, The Road to Oz. I've always loved Oz. Ever since I was a little kid, I watched, The Wizard of Oz. I watched Return to Oz and was obsessed with that movie, but I had never read the books. I watched Wicked.
I've seen it, yeah.
Which I thought I was going to hate. I liked it. I won't say I loved it. Like, I do have some complaints, but overall, I really liked it.
That's what I wanted.
And it made me immediately want to go and read the original Oz books and read Wicked, which I haven't gotten to yet, but I will eventually pick up Wicked. But first I wanted to go back to the originals, So the past month, I've read the first 4 books and I love them. Return to Oz got it right. It's so much darker than The Wizard of Oz, the Judy Garland movie. As much as I love that movie, the original books are so much darker, and I do prefer that. The Road to Oz, I have the Books of Wonder edition, which is kind of a facsimile. I mean, if you are familiar with the Oz books, you'll know that the original books are just beautiful. They are so gorgeously illustrated, delightful, magical illustrations all throughout. I'm just hooked on Oz, so I had to throw an Oz book into the mix. So there you have it. Those are the books that I've picked out for Old School April. Now we're going to take a look at the prompts and get a general idea of how many points some of these books will be worth. I'm not going to rank each and every one of these books because that would take forever. We're just going to grab a couple. I just have to get to the Google Doc, which you can access down below so you can print out everything. There are game boards, there are bingo sheets.
Yahtzee!
There's so many options for just having a good old time during Old School April. You can also find links for the merch if you want to order any merch, as well as the link to Kelsi's original video, which I highly recommend watching. She has all the information. If you want to know anything about Old School April, if you have any questions whatsoever, go to Kelsi's video and watch that first. Everything should be in that video.
The net is exciting.
Let's just pull a book at random here. I'm gonna choose this one on top, which is The Killer, a book published before 2006. That was published in like 1993, give or take. Read a book set in the 80s or 90s, or a book with a nostalgic vibe. Check. Read a book from the year or decade you were born. Check. Read a book with a frightened person on the cover. He looks dead, but I guess he is kind of frightened. I'll think on that one. A book written by a woman or with a female protagonist. This follows a female protagonist. Read a book with a school setting. This takes place in a school. Read a middle grade or YA book. YA, check. Read a new to you author or genre. I've never read a Chris North book before. I don't know if he's ever written another book besides this one, so check. Read a mystery. This does have a mystery angle to it. So already this book is worth tons of points, and it's so tiny. It'd be a very easy one to get through and get my team, the Scoobies, a whole bunch of points. Let's do one more. Let's do The Babysitter's Club. Read a book published before 2006. Check. Read a book set in the 80s or 90s, or a book with a nostalgic vibe. Check. Read a book written by a woman or a female protagonist. Check. Read a book with a number in the title, number 4. Check. I'm gonna stop there because that's a good enough example that you could pick out whatever you frickin' want, and it's gonna be worth a ton of points. So don't worry, don't fret. Doesn't really matter what you choose. Just read what you want, and it's gonna be worth something. There you have it. Those are my picks for Old School April. What do you think about these books? Let me know if you've read any of these, if you have any recommendations for me that I might be able to slip onto my list. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy Old School April, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, creeps.